What is up, YouTube? What's up, engineers? Today we're gonna be exposing JCS. Just kidding. We're gonna watch JCS videos because they posted a new one and I already watched it, but I want to watch more of it. There's obviously a lot of trigger warnings with these videos, but anyway, listen. I got mad. It's true crime videos. It's true crime. Jim can't swim. Who the f knows JCS as, oh yeah, Jim can't swim? Most people don't even know what that stands for. It's like, oh, do you know the CIA? Yeah, the Central Intelligence Agency? Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That is what it stands for, yeah. It's true crime show. I talked about how true crime can be propaganda, even in the case of JCS, copaganda, and people got mad at me in the comments. I talked about JCS can be copaganda, and it totally is. Yeah, it stands for Drew Crime Show. JCS. It's totally copaganda, but it's great. It's great. I love JCS. These videos are great, but it's still copaganda because you're still like from the cops' POV. Like, you know, Ethan loves propaganda. Everything you consume is propaganda in one form or another in capitalism. So yeah, there's propaganda that you like. Sorry. You ever see a Marvel movie? I can't consume any true crime since I became a leftist. I only watch fake crime. The leftist oath. Alright, check this out.
On the 2nd of August, 2017, at approximately 5:15 p.m., 21-year-old Savannah Gold left her parents' home and drove to San Jose Boulevard in Jacksonville, Florida. She had a 5:30 shift at the Bonefish Grill, a casual seafood restaurant where she worked as a waitress. But on this occasion, she never showed up. It was a fairly quiet Wednesday afternoon at the...
Alright, everyone get cozy. Everyone get tucked in. I prefer true crime from YouTubers. Yeah, because it's like, it's amateurish, so it's a little more spicy. This video is bringing down the mood. Why is the Polish cow here? What the hell, man? You sound crazy right now. I'm exposing JCS for the propaganda it is by also watching it and enjoying it. That's what we're doing today. Sorry.
The diner. Her absence wasn't too much of a strain, so the on-duty supervisor simply took her hours off the roster for that day and thought nothing else of it. Suspicions only arose roughly 1 hour and 15 minutes after...
Sorry to make a video where I'm like, boys, I need to be like, you know, funny YouTuber Ludwig. Boys, today we're going to be watching true crime. It is just really depressing. That's a funny idea for like a sketch or like a bit that I should have done, but I forgot. True crime GWMs, GRWMS, are essentially just that. Oh, get ready with me's. I got it. I figured it out before anyone put it in chat. Half of these true crime cases are they didn't go to work and their coworkers were worried. Like none of my jobs would have cared. Yeah, none of mine either. They'd be like, fucking asshole. Yeah, my work would not be like, oh, she didn't come into work. I mean, none of you have been murdered, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise. They just fire me and my body is never found.
Savannah had left the house, as her father received a text message from her phone number.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you and Mom, I met a really great guy and we are running away together. I love him and we are leaving tonight. I'll call you later when we get to where we glong. What the fuck? Glong. I love that too. This fucker was not like, it's obviously the dude who murdered her. Like, he might as well have been like, hey, I murdered your daughter. Come find me. I murdered your daughter. What are you going to do about it?
Savannah's older brother also received a text 43 seconds later.
These MFs murder people and think they're in a movie. Hey, I quit. I'm leaving with my boyfriend. I can't do this shit anything. I'm fine. Just want to get away. Bro, it's just like more than JCS proves it's propaganda. It is the best way to tell like people who do crime are really fucking stupid. Like a lot of crime is based on like economic struggle and like necessity, right? Like most crime is like drug crime, right? Where it's like, you know, possession or or like selling it, and it's like that's like necessity. But most like other crime, like violent crime, is just people that are really fucking stupid. It's like middle class white women being like, yeah, I stabbed my boyfriend to death with a wine bottle. Then she'll be like, am I free to go? I'll contact my lawyer. That last JCS video is the worst one. It's also like funny how they're kind of different now. I wanted to watch at the end of this video, I'm gonna watch the newest one, and I think like, I don't know, the way it's written, the narrator's getting a little wet and wild with it. IMHO. People that think they can outsmart investigators, but that's the thing. Investigators are also really fucking stupid. Why are you streaming when I'm getting out of school? Yeah, I saw a lot of people in the chat being like, why are you streaming so early? I stream whenever I want. You're not my dad or my mom, my grandma, or my uncle, or my aunt. Okay? I can't do this shit anything. I'm fine. Like, how is that supposed to read? I can't do this shit anything. I'm fine. I just want to get away.
Although both texts came from Savannah's number, her family knew right away that something wasn't right. She had just left the house in what appeared to be very high spirits, but now proclaimed to be running away with an unidentified man without packing so much as a change of clothes. Not only that, but the text messages were riddled with errors and composed in a completely different way to how she would normally write. Her phone was switched off when they tried calling just minutes after receiving the texts, so they immediately called her place of work and found out that she hadn't shown up. It was at that point they called police and filed a missing persons report. Savannah had been gone for less than 2 hours. Roughly 40 minutes later, her car was found unlocked and abandoned in the Bonefish Grill parking lot, and the only thing missing was her phone. Her wallet, ID, and a number of other valuable items had not been taken.
It's like, why even take the time to text anyone at that point? Like, she literally left everything behind. He shouldn't have just texted anyone. It gave him less time to run while he was texting people. It like made people suspicious faster. Like,
investigators went through the parking lot surveillance tapes and discovered what would then become the primary piece of evidence for the case. The majority of footage remains undisclosed to the public, but a detailed description of what occurred has already been released.
That's a myth. You can file as soon as you think someone's missing. Yeah, you can file a missing person report whenever. I mean, cops are 99% of the time not going to take it very seriously.
What we know is that Savannah,
like, even if it is like a real fucking missing person, like, cops generally just don't really care unless it's like a high profile case like this where it's like a young white girl. Anyway, like the first thing that's annoying about true crime, right?
Savannah parked her car and stepped out of the vehicle at exactly 5:31 p.m. She then walked over to another vehicle and conversed with the occupant for 14 minutes through the driver's side window. She then got into the back seat of said vehicle at 5:45 p.m. 14 seconds later, the car began to shake sporadically as if some type of struggle was occurring inside.
The way these videos are written is fucking crazy. I mean, I like it a lot because it's funny.
The rear door swung open 3 times, but was immediately and forcefully shut each time. It appeared as though someone was attempting to get out, but couldn't. This lasted for 49 seconds until the vehicle suddenly stopped moving. A male figure was then seen getting out and proceeded to walk over to Savannah's car that was 20 feet away. The surveillance was grainy, and the person could not be identified from the footage alone. All that police could ascertain was that
yeah, Bigfoot footage. What the fuck?
He had short brown hair and was roughly 5'11". The unidentified person reached into Savannah's car and took out what police believed was her phone. He then slashed the front tire with a knife before walking back to his own vehicle.
Huh? What? What? Why did he do that?
He got in and drove away from the scene at exactly 6:04 p.m. Savannah was never seen exiting the car. This was a crucial piece of evidence, and essentially all investigators had.
He like kidnapped this woman and then he slashed her tires like, she's not going anywhere. Bro, you have her. Of course she's not. You're stealing her. It's like insult to injury at that point.
to go on. They had to find out who the man was in the video, and fast. But they also had to be careful in how they conducted their investigation. They couldn't let anyone find out they had this footage in their possession, as knowing this information could allow a suspect to alter their alibi to fit with the evidence. This would take a significant advantage away from investigators during interrogation, and would hinder their ability to build a case to a considerable degree. Over the following 2 days, investigators briefly interviewed all the staff at the Bonefish Grill. For the most part, these encounters consisted of just 3 questions. When was the last time you saw Savannah? Do you know where she is? And is there anything you know that could help with our investigation? Within 48 hours, they had 3 potential suspects, whose names were then ran through the motor insurance database. The first suspect didn't have a license. The second suspect owned a bright red 2001 Jeep Cherokee, while the third suspect was registered to a 2012 silver Chevy Malibu, an identical match to the vehicle seen on surveillance. His name was Lee Rodarty. He was 28 years old and was
Oh my god. The way he said his name. I don't think that's how you pronounce that at all. His name was Lee Rodarty. Also, yeah, this picture is hilarious. Why are you live so early? I'm at work. I don't go by your schedule. You can hear him pronounce it like that in the interrogation. Really?
both the manager and head chef at the Bonefish Grill.
Thank you, Jobo Dobo, for the gifted sub.
Coincidentally, he was the first person to be interviewed at the diner about Savannah's disappearance, where he told investigators that he hadn't seen her in about 3 weeks, and knew nothing of her current whereabouts. It was only from his co-workers that police discovered he was having an on and off relationship with Savannah for the last 8 months, despite it being against company policy. From what investigators could gather, this was a very popular individual, rising fast through the ranks of his chosen profession. He was known for his charm and charisma amongst his colleagues, and also had a lot of success when it came to the opposite sex. On all accounts, his life seemed to be going very well.
He had a lot of fortune with the opposite sex. Well, what the fuck did he say? A lot of success when it comes to the opposite sex. He dated around. Like there's professional ways to still say that. Like trying a little too hard to sound like like professional. Big sex haver. Yeah. This guy, what, you're telling me this guy doesn't fuck? Come on. 30-year-old man at a rave?
When it came to the opposite sex. On all accounts, his life seemed to be going very well, but he was now the prime suspect in a kidnapping investigation, and the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office planned their next steps in meticulous detail. At around 5:15 p.m. on August 5th, police arrested Rodarty while midway through his shift at work. They told him it was for an outstanding traffic warrant and took him to the JSO Police Department.
Took him a long time to get those handcuffs
Told him it was
off.
for an outstanding traffic warrant and took him to the
Jesus Christ.
JSO.
What is he doing? How?
Police
How? Also, hilarious. Hilarious that they didn't arrest him the first time. He did it, and they were the first. He was the first person they interviewed. He was the first person they interviewed, and they were like, all right. He definitely didn't do it, so let's find someone else. Not that that's how investigations work, but the fact that he, like, managed to riz the cops away when he's already as stupid as you're going to see through the rest of the fucking interview is hilarious. Average cop efficiency, true.
Department.
Can you do me a favor? I'm gonna have you take that apron off, too. Just to kind of get it right. I'll stay right out here. You can go have a seat for me real quick. I'll be right back, okay? Yes, sir.
The officer said he would be right back, yet Lee was left to sit there for 90 minutes with nothing but his own thoughts to keep him company.
That's awesome. That's the thing, right? Like, cops are fat and they are super lazy because this is what their job is. They bring the guy in, they sit in their cars or at a desk all day, and then they bring a guy in, and then he's like, I want to go take a nap. I'm gonna go sit down. I'm tired. Ethan fat shaming. It's not fat shaming. I'm not shaming them because they're fat. I'm shaming them because they're cops. I don't use fat as a neg, but they are fat. Cops look literally like hogs.
Now, think of yourself in his position, and presume you were guilty of whatever happened to Savannah, and that whatever happened was something truly horrific.
Fat is a state of being like skinny. It doesn't always have to be slash neg. Sorry, I thought you were gonna say fat is a state of mind, like it's a perspective, you know? It's like you're really acting fat right now.
In the present moment, you have just been arrested for an outstanding traffic warrant, yet you were interviewed the day before about your coworker's disappearance. 1,000,001 things will be running through your mind about what could happen next, and as each second ticks by, the anxiety this will cause will begin to fester and slowly intensify. However, the optimism of uncertainty would still be present.
I think that's why so many people like this channel and why it's so popular is because they really just like edge you. They edge the fuck out of you. They're like they paint such a fucking elaborate picture. He's sitting there and the reality of his action might have is just setting in and oozing into his brain and into his mind, and with every wrinkle of his brain another memory flashes of the last time he saw whatever her name was.
There would still be hope, but this hope is about to be dashed.
91 minutes later.
The sound of the door opening would have been a pleasant relief from the monotonous cycle of Rodardi's own thoughts, yet this brief moment of alleviation would have instantly converted to shock as Detective Ray Reeves walked through the door, the same investigator who had interviewed him about Savannah the day prior.
Hey,
The image quality makes this look like a PS2 game. Yeah, that's what's interesting about these guys is that, like, sometimes they'll pick a case that has some of the worst available footage. Like, they have to go... Like, there's one where it's, like, a video of a screen in a courtroom. It's like, oh my god, is it really worth it? That one is interesting, though. That guy left his kid in the car. And everyone thinks he did it on purpose, which is pretty funny for him.
good. Do you remember me from the other day, Detective Reeves? Okay.
It would have been at this moment that Lee realized his situation was far more severe than he was hoping. The relative optimism he would have felt during the initial 90 minutes on his own will now be gone, which in turn will greatly magnify the contrasting sense of fear he will now be
See, optimism slashed fear. I feel like this is just the thumbnail for this video. God, what the fuck's going on in the top left, too? They had a little fisheye camera in there. It's not even on the suspect. It's just showing the cops. Do they have to have that?
My partner, Detective Staley, she was interviewing some of the other folks, waiters and other staff people the other day, so she didn't get a chance to come in at the time. I wanted to talk to you, or actually we wanted to. You want some more water?
Please. Actually, would it be alright to use the restroom one more time before we start off?
Of course. It's like he's putting on a bit to like be friends with him, but it's cops really do, I think, like they pretend so much to be friends that it seems like they just actually like them.
You bet. I'll walk out there. You want some water?
Please. Because you're alright.
Yeah, they pissed together. Side by side. Bro, look at this dude. Look at this guy. With his fucking bow tie. Why did they send in fucking Pee Wee Herman to fucking do this interview? Maybe don't send in the guy who's wearing the fucking bow tie to do this fucking interrogation if you're trying to get a confession out of someone. He looks like Dave Rubin. He does. That's exactly why this shit is copaganda. Because the fucking narrator probably would say some shit like, that's actually it's known as the burlesque, the big brown man technique. It's known as the upside down tornado technique. When was this? Why are their cameras so shit? It's because with all the funding that cops get, with all of the fucking funding that cops get from the fucking states that they're in, billions and billions of dollars across the country, they don't put it into anything other than weapons and fucking donuts and overtime. Pisses me off. Don't even fucking buy body cameras when they're given money so they can buy body cameras. They will literally buy a tank instead, just in case. It's literally just an occupying force. It's like if we just had a fucking gang of fucking, like a mafia gang that were just like, guys, listen. If we give you this money, will you please hold yourselves accountable? And they're like, Yeah, how about you give us a couple $1 million? We'll all wear cameras. And then they pull up in a fucking tank. You know, we might need this in case something goes down. How about that money, huh? How about that another $1 million? You want to defund us? We just bought a fucking aircraft carrier. That's crazy. How is that how the world works? Why are you Italian now? Because they're a mafia. They're a gang. They're literally doing a protection racket. The biggest lesson that you should take from the police is that union power is really effective in this country, because the police union, which shouldn't exist, the police union is the most organized and effective union and the most powerful union by far in the entire country. That's why cops are so well fed and well taken care of, especially in their later years.
You got water?
They left the door open to fuck with his mind. It's like, even if they did that, okay, sure, you like tortured a man. It's so fucked up.
Like I said, I want to kind of go over some stuff. I know we talked.
Knowing this guy in his fucking bow tie, he probably do that on purpose. It's so funny. It's just weird. I don't think it's really that much more effective.
The other day, just for a few minutes, and I had some concerns about a couple things. And oh, okay, well, there we go. Anybody else wants to talk? There we go.
That's the second guy come in with the water bottle technique. That's the, oh, were you looking for a water bottle? I found a water bottle. Did you need that? Technique. There we go.
I wanted to talk to you about Savannah. So
The bow tie makes him look friendly and approachable.
I just had a couple of things that came up that I wanted to ask you about specifically.
You forgot the ding.
Didn't seem to line up, so I wanted to
Yes, sir.
come down and talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Personal
You
details.
drink any alcohol today? Any drugs today?
I took an Adderall that my buddy gave me
Okay.
because I was there so late last night. I
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in and was super tired. Like, here. take
Howdy.
this.
Okay. Adderall?
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
do you normally
Tentaback,
take
for
that?
the
No,
5
I
months.
was. I've taken one a long time ago. Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't say high school. A little bit after high school, but it's been years.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I appreciate that.
It's funny that they skipped over the Miranda warning, because that is the most important part. If a cop's reading you a Miranda warning when you go into an interview, it's like signing a terms of service that is literally just in big letters. We can arrest you if we feel like it. So you shouldn't agree to that, and you should either get a lawyer if they're going to allow you to leave, or leave, or if they don't allow you to leave. Get a lawyer if they let you leave. Get a lawyer if they don't let you leave. Get a lawyer if they don't let you leave. And if you can leave, get out. Get the hell out of there. And then get a lawyer. Either way, get a lawyer.
All right. So, Savannah,
Leave if they don't let you leave. Fight your way out.
you said that you knew her and you guys had, you knew her from work. I mean, just kind of fill me in with that. How long have you known her?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Don't talk to cops. Ever. Just don't talk to cops. Just don't. You don't have to. That's what lawyers are for.
Like I said,
The detective starts off with an open-ended question. This gives the suspect total freedom and flexibility in how they wish to respond. It's commonly believed that people with nothing to hide are likely to give a short and concise response to these types of questions. For example, if Lee was completely unconcerned with what was going on, he could respond in 3 short sentences. I met her from work. I've known her for 2 years. We dated for a bit. To the contrary, if an individual does have something to hide, they are more likely to give a lengthy and detailed response. The simple reasoning behind
right.
this is that they are seeking approval. Imagine yourself in a job interview and
That is, it's, you know, there's obviously like good information in these true crime things, because yeah, when people are lying, they do like trail off like that. It's like easy to catch, but it's like always not super obvious. Maybe I'm just not good at telling when people are lying.
You're asked an open-ended question, such as, "Tell me about yourself." You would feel the need to be thorough in order to please your potential employer. The psychological premise is exactly the same with regard to police interrogations, albeit under completely different circumstances.
They think I was going to say always trail off. I mean, but when you're talking to a cop, you shouldn't do that. I don't think many people actually would trail off like that when you're talking to a cop.
Guilty subjects will see the interrogator as an imminent threat and will therefore attempt to appease this threat to prevent further aggression. Truthful subjects will have no fear nor concern with regard to the same element. They would see the interrogator as a mere inconvenience as opposed to a threat.
I've known her obviously since she started working there. I would say probably about 8 months ago or so.
All right.
We started hanging.
They romanticize it so much when he's like so clearly like, yeah, so yeah, like 8 months ago, like it's so obvious.
Outside of work. And at the time I had a girlfriend. But I kind of, we kind of connected, me and Savannah.
Oh my
We hung
God.
out a little bit here and there.
I'm
Got pretty
eating
close.
lentil soup.
We come from, I guess,
Congratulations, Worcestershire sauce for the 2 months. And for the lentil soup.
somewhat similar backgrounds, I guess you should say.
Okay.
She didn't have it the best growing up, neither did I. So we kind of connected and hung out for a little while. And then
Oh my God, dude.
she
God,
started
she doesn't
using
know when to stop.
drugs a lot.
Okay.
Now, I used them with her, not the same drugs that she used all the time, but
Yeah, not those ones.
I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them, and
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
so I kind of just
Oh no.
tried to take a step back.
They weren't able to deliver my factor meal.
And,
oh, that sucks.
Put things off. Probably a month or so ago, I saw Savannah at work, and she looked healthy again. She gained a little bit of weight, and just friendly talk at work. Telling her, hope everything's been good. And she told me, that I guess she did a lot of drugs and ended up in the hospital. She ended up missing like I want to say a couple of days, 3 or 4 days from work.
God, bro,
Oh,
it
okay.
just keeps going.
So obviously, me being pretty close to her, I was concerned and everything. But after she came back, she looked good, and she ended up telling me that, I guess, over those 4 days, she detoxed pretty well, and she kind of caught a, new sense into why she shouldn't do some drugs
Good for her.
so much.
Okay.
And like I said, she looked good. She started looking healthy. So we kind of were talking, here and there. We hung out a couple times. She came over to the house, and we just
Bro, he's
kicked
just.
back, drink.
I
a
thought
couple
the narrator was
beers, watch
bullshitting, but
movies,
this is
stuff like
insane.
that.
Yeah, he's just.
Like I said, we did.
Oh my God, dude. Goopy
Hey P,
gum.
have you seen the new Zelda gameplay? Are you excited to that game as much as I am?
Yeah, I actually wanted to watch that first, but I forgot. But if I still have the energy for it, I wanted to watch that on stream because I only watched a little bit of it.
We took like some pain pills here and there on occasion, but then she started like bringing heroin over and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
That's my mom was addicted to methamphetamines when she was when I was younger, so those hard drugs just kind of scare me a little bit. So that's why I took a step back the first time. I ended up telling her, I was like, hey, for one, I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff myself right now as it is. I'm a little depressed. But I think we're moving too fast. I think we should, stop talking.
Okay.
And she
It's
said,
still going.
I understand. It's completely fine. No problem, She said, I'll delete your number. I'll never text you again. And that was the last time that we text.
Okay.
When was that?
Yeah.
When was that?
It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Sometime in July.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things you said was that was the last time that you had contact with her
Yes.
as far as, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I mean, you correct me.
That was the last
anytime.
time that I texted her.
Yeah, text or
What was the original question? It was like, how do you know the victim? Like the first question.
phone call or messenger
Yeah.
or anything like that. 2 to 3 weeks ago. Yeah, okay. And then the last time, when was the last time you saw her?
This is what I was a bit. I didn't tell you the truth when we talked up on Fish.
Okay.
Lee doesn't know the extent of the evidence, but he knows the investigators have something, and he now has no choice but to amend his alibi to some degree and give some form of admission. This allows the
It's like, okay, I lied a little bit earlier. Don't get mad. But now that there's a hole in my story, I have to change it because sorry, I lied.
investigators to get one step closer to a confession, while also keeping the capacity of the evidence hidden until a more critical moment.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like
A
a couple days
bunch.
before that,
Why
and
did he
that
say
she
that?
was going to like tell about the whole situation, and you know, try to get me fired. And
Now,
things
why
like
why
that.
would that get you fired? I
Well,
don't
I'm a manager and she's an employee, so
okay,
it's
so you
a-
guys aren't supposed to fraternize?
Yeah.
Or, okay, I got you.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
Okay.
I pulled in the parking lot. She pulled in a little bit after me. I parked, and I said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And she said, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "I heard you've been saying some things."
We had a very casual conversation, and he's talking about the victim, bro. It's so weird.
About me and you continuing to hang out, and you know that
We had a very normal, civil conversation where I was like, hey. And she was like, hello. And everything was normal, and I didn't kidnap and kill her after that. It was so normal.
we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And she asked me, she said, "Can I come sit in the car? Because I just did some heroin and I'm a little paranoid."
Heroin doesn't make you feel paranoid. It makes you
Yes.
extremely relaxed and oblivious to your surroundings. Some might argue that heroin can cause paranoia depending on the user, yet Savannah was driving moments earlier and was about to start a shift at work. If she was using, she most certainly wasn't the type to get paranoid.
Okay.
I said,
Yeah, if she was high on heroin, that would explain why he was able to kidnap her. She might have been, like, out of it.
"Why are you doing that? You know, you're doing really well. You shouldn't have been doing that."
Okay.
And so she came and sat in the car, and I explained to her the situation. I told her that
Yeah,
server
he really needs to stop talking. Like, he's just digging himself in a fucking hole.
at Bonefish were coming to me and telling me that you're telling people when you're out that we're still having sex and we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And I said, I would appreciate, you know, I need you to stop, because for one, it's jeopardizing my job. We agreed to, you know, stop talking mutually and just move on and, you know, be cordial or whatever. But it was nothing more than that. And she said, "Fuck you, you know, you're a piece of shit." And I said, she said she's going to keep telling lies and stuff about me and everything like that. And at that point,
Lee has just tried to cover his tracks as much as possible without giving away anything incriminating. He may have thought a witness saw him at the scene with Savannah and was most likely hoping the verbal argument was the extent of what was seen. He therefore gives away this detail in an attempt to come across as truthful. Yet as we know, the investigators have proof that Savannah never got out of the car, and he's about to lock himself into his second lie,
Yeah,
which is
he's
exactly
digging
what the
himself-
detectives want.
He's digging himself into
she-
a damn hole. This guy's so stupid. Like I said, man, people who commit
You
crime
have-
are just dumb. If you kill someone, it's like, dude, there's just like no way you can get away with that. It's really stupid for you.
phone in her hand, she got out of the car and walked towards the main entrance from San Jose.
So like if
This
So
is all a fib.
is-
like
I wouldn't say she was walking along the edge of the plaza, but she was walking maybe towards this way.
Oh my
And
god! And she was wearing red sneakers, They were Converse. I think she bought them like 3 or 4 years ago at Urban Outfitters. She initially got the wrong size, so we had to bring them back and exchange them, but she forgot the receipt. But she was lucky because the girl who was working there actually remembered us from when we had came in to buy the shoes initially. So then
Peace stream and
we
true crime.
managed
It
to
must be my lucky
exchange
day.
the shoes for the proper size, and they were 20% off, and she still applied the coupon. So we ended up getting some of our money back. Our money. Gangkagmai.
7 months.
Thanks,
Woohoo! If I get
guys.
murdered, I would like to send a
Wow.
little bit of my ashes to each and every Python viewer. Kiss and smile.
I would say an older model Ford pickup, green.
Okay.
Drove past me and around.
Like, even if these things were true, you don't need to say all that.
And she got in.
Okay.
The suspect has now thrown away his best possible defense, which would have been that he drove away from the parking lot with Savannah, and that she got out at another destination where they then parted ways. If he had known about the surveillance footage, this would have no doubt been his revised narrative, but it's no longer possible due to this fabrication. This is now his stated alibi under caution, and any amendments that he might try to make at a later stage will have no credibility whatsoever.
So she gets out of the backseat and begins walking in the direction of, not
This guy messed up
necessarily
big time.
paralleling San Jose, but she's walking towards 295 or down towards that entrance area.
Yeah.
And then she's got her phone, and you said you thought she.
Like, you already got it. You don't have to, like... I don't feel like this shit is actually attributable to the cops. It's like, yeah, he's got them in this huge lie, but I think it's because the cop believes him. Like, he's like, so she went down this way. I think we should actually check in the area for witnesses. Like, even though the cop has the video footage at this point, I feel like they're having such in-depth conversations about it. Like, it doesn't need to be a 21-minute interview, really.
She was calling somebody.
The detective knows this alibi is completely fabricated, so you might be wondering why he's inquiring into it further. The truth is that he's not actually inquiring, only pretending to. The suspect's responses to these questions are of no importance, and the detective is not information gathering. He's simply getting the suspect to let his guard down as much as possible by making him think that he is being believed. As the suspect continues to convey this made-up narrative, his anxiety will slowly diminish. His belief that he is fooling the detectives will increase, and his heightened state of mind will decrease as a result. This is a way.
Like, people really think cops live in the scene from the Sherlock Holmes movie?
First, discombobulate. Dazed, discombobulate. Distract target. Discombobulate. Block his blind jab. Discombobulate. He'll attempt wild haymaker. Discombobulate. In summary, discombobulate.
Is Sherlock copaganda? No. I mean, like, Sherlock Holmes was written in a time before copaganda was really possible. In a time and place, it just doesn't really make sense for that. But the Sherlock movies, the Robert Downey Jr. ones, are literally just like vanity projects for Robert Downey Jr. They're so funny. It's just like to make him look so cool. Did Robert Downey Jr. ever morally fuck up or get canceled? Yeah, dude. Remember the scene in Iron Man 3 where he crashes into that one kid's bedroom or whatever? He's in some kid's bed. Iron Man 3 is actually a good movie. It sucks, but it like sucks to say that, but it is a good movie, actually. Anyway, my point is, in real life, he actually broke into someone's house and like tried to sleep in a kid's bed. Like he thought it was his bed. He was just like super drugged out of his mind.
Own strategy, and the reason for this strategy is because the detective is about to initiate the first confrontation. He wants to catch the suspect completely off guard.
She had it in her hand and looked like
Yeah, he went to rehab and became like that's where he learned Wing Chun. That's why he does Wing Chun in the beginning of one of the Iron Man movies. Who is Robert Downey Jr.? Yeah, he had a really, really bad dark phase because he was a Nepo baby. Like, literally almost everyone in Hollywood currently. Yeah, he went to jail for that.
I mean, I couldn't tell if she was texting or not or anything.
But she had her phone out.
Yeah, she had her phone out and was looking at it. and then it looked like she was going to put it up to her ear, and then
Yeah.
the green truck came around.
Okay.
This is
And
crazy, dude. This
How
is
long
all
do you
fake.
think it was between the time that she got out and started using her phone till that green truck pulled up?
This goes on for roughly 90 seconds, and Rodarty appears to be considerably more at ease.
295 all the way to Beach Boulevard to Grove Park, and then Grove Park.
How long does that usually take you? Depending on traffic, obviously.
Oh my god, dude. We don't need to keep going. You already caught him in the lie. It really does feel like the cop believes him.
The trap, I think it usually takes about 25 minutes or so.
Okay. What happened to your neck?
We see a very sharp and very sudden switch. The suspect is taken from
Yeah, because the cop is too stupid and didn't bring it up before.
feeling assured to once again feeling threatened. It's believed that when the immediate shift from one emotion to the next is so extreme, a suspect can become disoriented, and their ability to think critically can be affected.
Yeah, when you start acting different to someone and you point out something that makes them uncomfortable after they probably killed someone, people don't like confrontation. I don't know, maybe I just either have a huge brain and naturally understand investigative techniques, or this shit is just like normal social behavior.
In other words, it's much harder for them to think up lies on the spot or fabricate emotion in a convincing manner.
That was self-inflicted, actually.
After a long, nervous breath, he takes
Yeah, you know, the cops are actually at a higher plane of understanding and of body language and cues, so they could actually tell that that was a lie. Listen very closely.
That was self-inflicted, actually.
after
Only genius years of training could tell you that that's a lie.
After a long, nervous breath, he takes 3 seconds to respond, yet somewhat saves himself with the answer. The fact he stated his injuries were self-inflicted could give reason for the nervous breath and his hesitation to respond, as self-harm is a taboo subject, and some might be embarrassed or even ashamed to admit to it. The detective recognizes this and immediately puts him back on the spot.
Why?
I just have been having kind of a hard time.
So I scratched my neck? What? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
To your neck?
I couldn't.
The first interjection from the female detective. She alludes to the fact that
See, I think that's on purpose. Her not saying anything until then, that's on purpose. That makes sense. But like the other shit is just silly.
the neck is an unusual place for a self-inflicted injury, essentially stating that she's not buying it, but also refrains from applying too much pressure, which is
Does this man know anything about anything? Well, the narrator is just a narrator. He just reads it. He has his own thing. It's written by two guys I don't really know. That's, I think, Jim. So I like the narrator. He's like a weird libertarian hippie, but I like him. I think he's cool.
being saved for a more pivotal moment at a later stage.
Yeah, I did.
Whoa.
And
We got spicy chicken fries at Burger King? That's crazy.
What did you use?
a knife.
A knife to your neck? Jesus. This guy was serious. Really wanted it to be over.
Some time in July.
You did that in July and it's still
Yeah.
bloody?
Well, I kind of peeled the scab here and there at work, hitting it on stuff like that. I peeled it last night working.
Probably not the best advertisement for the Bonefish Grill if their head chefs are peeling their scabs off at work.
Yeah.
But then again, the wounds are more than likely a fresh injury from his struggle with Savannah.
Yeah, I think
Ethan
so.
can't stay for the stream, but yay 7 Mo NHS.
Hey, thank you, Swim Up Gaming, for the 7 months.
And they hadn't been peeled off at all.
Gross.
And it was coming off a little bit today, so I peeled that a little bit.
All right, let me see.
But this and this was the same night. This one was just a lot worse
Yeah.
than this one was.
Okay.
Um,
And that was in July?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Okay. When she's in the car, what does she say to you about what her plans are? So she's scheduled to work that night.
Mhm.
So she's going to work?
She didn't talk about. I mean, I assumed she was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
She was in her uniform, but she didn't say. When she got out the car, she didn't say anything after she got out of the car.
They further reinforce his confidence by going back to his narrative of the truck.
Why? Why do they need to like reinstate his confidence? What did he say?
They further reinforce his confidence by going back to his narrative.
Why do they need to reinforce his confidence? They already caught him in a lot. They know he's lying. Sorry, I'm trying to order food. I don't know what I want. This teriyaki bowl place looks pretty good though.
Narrative of the truck and allow him to convey the story in more meticulous detail. They are once again giving him a false sense of security, only to use it against him at the opportune moment.
When she gets in that truck, let's be honest, we won't even call her she, was Savannah. Okay? Savannah, again, with this picture, if we're using it in the same place, from where your drawing was, they drove over here. You're here, and they drive out over here. Do they stop? Does she get out and go into work? Does the truck keep going?
I didn't see once they turned the corner past the ATM.
Mm-hmm.
Once she got in and they left, I left because
left.
I just.
Did you run into them on the road anywhere?
No.
Okay.
That's what. Shut up, man. Like, we don't need to be having like this whole conversation. It's like over. It's already over.
Did she call you later on?
Get 40 cookies again? No, I'm not gonna do that actually.
Text you later on?
Savannah, no.
Mm-hmm. No other contact with her?
No.
So where's Savannah right now?
I don't know.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
This is a far more aggressive confrontation. It's essentially an accusation that the suspect is involved in Savannah's disappearance. Innocent subjects will usually reciprocate this aggression and respond to this type of question with a question of their own, such as, "Why are you asking me that?" Or, "What are you trying to say?" They would openly recognize and refute the allegation, most often in a forceful manner. Lee had no emotional response whatsoever, nor an ounce of shock. He answered the question with a composed demeanor, almost as if he knew it was coming. It lets the detectives know he was anticipating some type of blunt confrontation.
That's my prime objective, is to find her.
Definitely.
I think time's running out on her. I want to find this girl. I need to find her.
I understand.
And here's a couple reasons I need to find her. One,
Like, for a second, I was looking away and I thought I thought the suspect was saying that. Like, it sounds like he's pretending. It's just like, I don't buy anything he's saying.
is I'm hoping that she's still alive. And that's really, I really do, I'm holding out for that.
I'm holding
and if
out
she's
for that.
not alive, then I think she and her family are due that knowledge. I think I think they need some closure.
Why does it sound like he's nervous? It sounds like he's the one being interrogated. The video hasn't shown much of him talking, but like, oh my God. I think that's the biggest reason I think this shit is copaganda, because there's so many more places to criticize the actual execution of these interrogations and how often they mishandle evidence that these videos never make. Like, maybe it's because it's mainly because they're focused on analyzing the criminals, but also it's like you can't fully analyze criminal psychology if you're not going to be honest about how regularly criminals are allowed to get away with shit and how much they're allowed to get away with because of police incompetence. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not purposeful propaganda, and it's not very powerful propaganda, but it is.
Because I think the reality
Can we watch cops falling over compilations? Honestly, we should.
is if somebody's dead somewhere, a parent would want to know. I think do you have kids?
No.
Okay, so one day.
If I was doing an interrogation, I would simply come in and I'd be like, yeah, it would really suck if someone got fucking slaughtered the other night. We should figure out what's happening before some child stumbles upon the fucking abandoned corpse of some poor woman. And I would just stare at them.
When you have kids, the uncertainty is whatever kind of a person she is. And I'm not about to say what kind of a person she is. Because I'm not making any judgments.
He sounds so fucking nervous. We spent this whole video talking about how when someone's lying or when someone's like being put in an uncomfortable position, all they do is blab on. And now that's what he's doing. That's so funny, dude. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. He wants to leave. Wants to go home. Hit his wife.
Saying that this human being is if she's alive, then I want to find her. I need to make sure she's okay, because several days now
Brother,
she hasn't
what?
been around. Things happen to the human body, and people can't stand a lot of things that can transpire. But the other thing is,
What is you talking about? What is he saying? This is so baffling, dude. Things happen to the human body that you don't even want to talk about that. It's like, yeah, man, I don't actually want to talk about that. Hang on, I'm getting chicken fries.
she's not. This family deserves better than this. This family deserves better than somebody who works with her and who's got knowledge and won't tell the police because they're worried about their own ass. Because that's pretty cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
I agree.
your feelings in it, I don't really care about your feelings. What I care about is finding her. So where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Where is Savannah?
I don't know.
I need to know where Savannah is.
It's like an I think you should leave bit. Where is she? I don't know. But where is she? I'm gonna need to know where she is. I mean, honestly, they should just let like comedians and like people who are naturally funny fuck with these guys. Like if you're gonna already like put them through like some kind of psychological torture, you might as well really make a show out of it. These guys are fucked up. They're bad people. Whatever. Put them on TV. Make them do American Ninja Warrior. You can do whatever they want. It's like if you're innocent, then you would make the spider climb. You guys ever see the spider climb? I love American Ninja Warrior, dude. I watched this show so much when I was a teenager. And I was like 13. Bro, what is this picture? What the hell? Oh my god. That's crazy. Oh, fuck. Get out of the way. That's crazy. Look at that. How are they doing that? They're always pretty good sports on this show. This show's pretty wholesome. I like this show a lot. You know what?
I know
Family
where
knows.
she is.
You don't know because you had something done with her and you weren't
You had
involved in that
something
part.
done with
I don't know.
her.
Tell me something. What can I work with?
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true because we have proof.
This moment would have been rehearsed multiple times before the interrogation started. The
First of all, no. No, it wasn't.
investigators would have planned who would reveal the surveillance to
Like, they went over it one time. They're like, okay, so when I say this thing, you're going to reveal the evidence.
the suspect, and at roughly what moment. The suspect had been confronted multiple times, and the situation was now fully transparent, yet he continued to maintain his innocence by clinging on to his narrative. It becomes evident that he isn't going to budge, so the female detective takes the initiative. She reveals their final and most substantial piece of evidence for the purpose of maximizing the pressure.
We have proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point, we need this for her. I mean, I look at that little girl and I think of my little girl. My little girl who's her age. That's who I think about.
Oh my god.
That was my little girl. I couldn't imagine. I don't care what she said about you or
Like, there's no way this was rehearsed because she's clearly doing this on the fly.
whatever, but my little girl is that age.
No way.
Maybe
And you're not telling the truth.
Maybe some gets
They're cutting each other off. There's just no way this was rehearsed.
got a hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
you didn't do
okay.
anything, but she
I didn't do anything. Yeah, what is she doing? She's doing the poor mother route, the poor mother technique.
was in your car. She never got out of your car. She
She
never
got-
got out of your car. Lee?
We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her. I didn't say you
I
did
don't know
anything.
where she is.
Well, we can prove that you left with her in the car.
She's spilling spaghetti everywhere.
So please, do everybody
this.
a favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
I don't
You
know.
got to be able to separate. We're not sitting here saying you did anything to her. I don't know. She's on drugs. Maybe she passed. I don't know. I'm not in that car with you guys. I know that she's in that car with you. I have proof of all of this.
Okay, let me ask you, Lee. Then tell us now if you're being an honest man. Are you being honest?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's start being honest. She never got out of your back seat, Lee. She never got out of your back seat. Video cameras don't lie.
Lee.
How do you know How do you think I know this information, Lee?
White woman tears is a powerful move. Yeah, she is pulling out the ultimate attack.
I wasn't there, but a video camera caught it.
Tell me what happened.
I don't know.
What happened to her?
I do like the technique of like crying. Like, if you don't tell me if you killed her, I'm gonna cry. Like,
Was it an
who
overdose?
is this about? Lee Rodarde.
Is that what happened? I don't know. I'm not in the car with you guys. You just said she was in your car and she had admittedly had done heroin.
This is a cross between the how and why solution and the alternative question. Both are used to lower the gauge of admission for the
Yeah, it only took them 40 minutes to start using like any kind of like manipulation
purpose of getting one foot in the door, which will then become the new foundation
of like techniques.
for building the case. The how and why solution essentially blames the victim, while at the same time minimizes the motivations behind the crime. The alternative question plants a seed in the suspect's mind, where they are given an alternative and far more morally accepting choice for what happened. It's a smart move, yet the suspect doesn't fall for it on this occasion.
Bodies overdose all the time. Is that what happens? Does she overdose?
Okay, well, tell us.
Did he just say bodies overdose all the time? See, it's because he's saying, he said bodies overdose all the time. It's not because he's like a weirdo and isn't prepared and like chose a weird word because he's not very confident, he's pretty nervous. No, it's actually because he was already saying body, corpse, death. It's supposed to associate in his mind.
Happens? Does she overdose?
Yeah, bodies just overdose on love.
Okay, well, tell us when you left with her in the car, because that is what is shown. We can't make up that. We can't falsify a video camera, Lee. I'm not lying to you, because you know I'm telling the truth, because you
That's
know
right.
that's what's on the video. How else would I know that? I don't, unless I have the video. Where did you go with her?
I didn't go anywhere with
You
her.
did.
No.
You did. So the video camera's lying?
I don't know this. I mean,
Well, I'm telling you.
I don't know this camera. Also, it looks like she's lying. Look at her posture and her body language. She's like, yeah, so we have video camera footage. Basically, we have video camera footage. We do.
The surveillance footage was no doubt incriminating evidence, yet wouldn't close out a case on its own that easily. The investigators need a confession, and continue to apply pressure in a relentless manner. They attack the suspect's character, while simultaneously appealing to his sense of morality.
I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you. I'm not making that up. That's why I'm so passionate about this. This is someone's child. You might not have kids.
God, their whole like everything about this, it's designed to make you uncomfortable. But to me, it just feels silly.
But damn it, is she someone's kid? We're fact finders, Lee.
Yeah, cops will absolutely tell you they have everything on you when they absolutely have nothing. And because they're so incompetent, it always sounds like they're lying. So just never believe anything they say. Just don't talk to them. Your lawyer does it all for you. That's their job.
You don't have anything personal against you?
No, not at all. I mean, it's
We're
over.
just fact finders.
tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job. No, no. Where did you go with her? Where did you go with her, Lee? Be human. You're a human. You're a man. Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel
Oh my
inside.
God.
Seriously. Where did you go with her?
I mean, I don't know. Cops like beat the shit out of people in interviews. I feel like they don't even have to do that. They could just shake the table around and just scream like, ah! You know? Until they'd be like, all right, I did it. Find people sad. Where did you go with her?
Maybe you
Please.
maybe you don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please. I'm begging you, Lee. Please. Please tell us. Please don't make us waste any more of our time. Just tell us.
Oh my God.
Please tell us. Please.
It's like a fucking bit, dude. It's like a bit in a show. Please tell us. Please, can you just please tell us what you did with her? Please. This is known as the begging and pleading technique. This is the Daniel Sophinson technique. Named after the great police investigator, Daniel Sophinson. Literally, just like breaking down, shitting and pissing all over yourself. Nah, man, these cops are actually, they're geniuses. They're wearing him down. Just please do my job for me. I hate working so much.
I'm begging you. I know you're not evil. Just tell us where she is. I'm begging you. Please.
Bro, aren't you investigators? That's what you're supposed to do. Go out and look for her, motherfucker.
Please. Can you please just tell me? Where did you go with her then? Can you
At least tell us that.
at least tell us that part? Where did you go with her afterwards? She didn't get out of your car, and you know that, obviously, because I know that.
I feel like you can, oh, I completely lost my train of thought. Fuck.
Please tell us that part. Where did you go with her afterwards? She didn't get out of your car, and you know that, obviously, because I know that.
That's why we're here. Just tell us where. Where did you go with her? Tell us that. At least point us in that direction.
At least, man. Come
I owe
on.
her family. We've been. No one's. We're not saying anything that you intentionally did anything. Just tell us where you went.
When y'all left out of there, you went down Clare Lane, you made a left on San Jose about to 295, and you get up on 295. Okay. Where else did you go before you went home? I mean, I know you eventually went home,
I
but...
didn't go anywhere. I went straight home.
Okay, so what did y'all do when you got home? Savannah was with you.
See, like, this makes sense, right? This is like they should have done this instead of just done like the please, 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 please. Like, okay, fine. Like, just, I don't feel like you need to do that fucking weird shit. It's annoying. This is the be really annoying technique.
She was with you. And that's okay at that point, but I need to know where did she go from there? Is she still at your house?
Like, you can you can get into this like fake narrative, right? Because they're just asking questions about like, okay, well, if you didn't kill her, if you didn't kidnap her, what did happen then? It's like asking O.J. Simpson, like, okay, O.J., who actually killed them? They're dead. Whoever did it, it was the perfect crime.
No.
Okay. Is she still in your car?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, then where is she?
I don't know where she is.
Okay, then where did you last drop her off at?
I didn't drop her off.
Okay, well then tell me.
What happened? Where'd you guys go?
We went to my house.
This is a breakthrough. The investigators have got Lee to amend his story once more by lowering the level of admission, and this shows that he can still be influenced. As stated earlier, they were trying to get one foot in the door, which they have now done, and this is their new platform to build on the more damnatory elements.
We did some
Damnatory.
drugs,
Okay.
hung out for a little, and then she said she was gonna catch him and go home.
What was going on in the
Didn't
back
do
seat?
anything to
What was
you know.
going on in the back seat?
Getting
For the
calculated.
doors to be kicked open.
Mr.
She kicked
Psychic
open that door 3
Void.
times, Lee.
Thank you for the prime.
She kicked it. We saw it. Where's Savannah?
I don't know.
You do know. Lee, we understand. Listen, we understand.
We're not trying to hang you up on anything, man. I'm telling you
What?
what thinking about this girl and her family.
Hank
and your
you?
family.
It's now Miss. Mr. Psychic Void is now Miss Psychic Void. Yeah, you should change that. Just so you know, guys, everyone. That's just like, could you have chosen the the worst fucking username?
Sir.
Please tell me where to go find her. That's how people remember you.
The released footage of the interrogation tape cuts off at this exact moment. The state's attorney has been contacted by multiple sources to release the next segment, but has so far refused to do so. All we know is that Lee Rodarty admitted to killing Savannah Gold. The only information that is currently released is that he proclaimed to have killed Savannah by breaking her neck. He then took her back to his house where he burned her body in a self-made fire pit and then dumped her in a lake at the dead end of a secluded road. Savannah had injuries to over 75% of her body. The medical examiner was unable to pinpoint the exact cause of death. The only conclusion was that it was a violent homicide.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird that they cut it and then they just cut back and he's crying and they're like, yep, we got it. It's probably because it's really embarrassing for the other cops. They probably did more like, please, just please. They probably both cried. I mean, bro is like drugged out all the time.
The segment of admission
doing like heroin and Adderall and like, yeah, of course, he's like unstable. They cried with him and hugged. Yeah, like the implication is like they could have roughed him up. They could have promised him something. They could have done some like sleazy stuff. And it's like, no, it's probably just really embarrassing.
Was cut. Yet the JSO released the footage that came just moments after. It shows a human being experiencing an emotional reckoning so overwhelming while also trying to process the terrifying nature of his immediate
How can they manage to get away with shit? That's the power of unions.
Situation.
You can do whatever you want. Form a union. Yeah, you know, I've had enough of the police union. Why don't we start a goddamn crime union? Oh my god, you don't even believe all this in, brother. Oh, I think he knows he's being recorded at this point. So he's trying to like make it look like he's remorseful for the purposes of
Killed in jail.
yeah, he's trying to make it look like, oh, he's so sorry. So when this plays in the jury, it won't look so bad. I mean, that's a weird defense to go for. It's like, Your Honor, look how much he cried. Your Honor, he killed her, but he was so sad. He didn't mean it. He's not like those people who kill for no reason, which is like 7 people ever. And most of them are in the military. Yeah, honestly, the people, yeah, like murder usually does happen in like second degree where it's like not planned and it's in the moment. And the kind that does, yeah, most of those people I think do just go into the military or the police force. Your Honor, Gangnam Style.
Shit.
Your Honor, look it.
I'm nice to you. For somebody who was a bitch to you.
Huh?
How does that make any sense? It's time you get to wear a chef coat.
So dramatic, dude. You can be a chef in prison.
This is not supposed to be me.
Oh my god.
taken to the Duval County Jail where he was denied bond. In spite of the overwhelming evidence against him and the prospect of life in prison without the possibility of parole, he pled not guilty and claimed that Savannah's killing was an act of self-defense, even though he stands at 5'11", weighing 163 pounds, while Savannah was just 5 feet tall and weighed 91 pounds. He claimed that he was in fear of his life after she slapped him multiple times and broke it, resulting in her death. The state's attorney's office had no comment on this motion. All they have stated is that this trial is expected to commence during the summer of 2020.
Bro looks like Jordan. This looks nothing like Jordan. Did you hear that Chris Chan's out of jail? Yeah. New Chris Chan arc. It's very interesting. Yeah, so that was the Lee Rodarty. I wonder what happened. It's weird that they pick like somewhat unfinished cases, because it's always like, oh man, what happened?